fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this is likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up the Bills! It's not a house game! It's not a house game!
Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Homie, now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping, they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping, we on a mission. Got an unstoppable team, continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond716, back from a hiatus last week, and want to give Whittle2K thanks for holding it down. Did a great job as always last week. And it has started March Madness in many ways. There's a lot of forms of it. There's college basketball. There's NBA, NHL's kicking the gear. And, of course, NFL free agency. And the Buffalo Bills, Whittle, were very, very busy over this past week since the last time we spoke. So how you doing, Whittle?
I'm good, man. I'm doing very, very good. I am going through like some of the moves that obviously they're not all. Of course, when you need them, they're not all going to show up. So
Yep, absolutely. And we have a plenty to talk about. And
right.
just want to start by, of course, want to basically give a shout out to Do Champions. Please like and follow us on the Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are. And also we have so many moves to talk about. I don't even know where to start, right? Usually we have just a couple of things to get rolling with. I mean, we have the Josh contract. We have the richest player in the NFL on our roster, which is something. We have the MVP and the most guaranteed money in the history of the NFL on our roster. So we have that. We have restructures. We have rumors. We have moves. I mean, where shall we begin?
Well, let's start with Von Miller. Von Miller was released. I expected Von to kind of stick around and take a bit of a pay cut, and when that didn't happen, I was wondering, okay, does this mean that we're gonna get a pass rusher? I thought this was like Trey Hendrickson, that we were trading for him, but ultimately it wasn't Trey Hendrickson at all. And yeah, I figured that there's not a market out there for Von to get what he would get in Buffalo. So if he was going to be released, it's because they need the spot more than they needed the money. So once he was outright released, I figured, you know what, that was that. I don't think he's coming back. I mean, I'm fine with that. Um,
Hmm.
I think his time in Buffalo is always going to be hurt by that contract that he signed and the injury that robbed him really of the 2022 season. 2022, if you guys remember, we played 10 games. It was week 10 he got hurt for the rest of the year. He tore his ACL. And in that game, he had I mean in that up until that point, that was like week 10. He had 8.5 sacks, man, in that year.
Yep.
So he was well on his way to double digit sacks. And our pass rush was one of the best in the league. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and that was that. That ended his season. It took him, he came back a little too early, in my opinion. Never really picked up the production, and he's 36 now. He's
Hmm.
36, a year and some change removed from a major, 2 years removed actually at this point, removed from um an ACL tear, another, major lower body injury that he suffered. So um, you know, they wanted to clearly this off season, the Buffalo Bills have prioritized cap flexibility and getting younger.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely. And Whittle, the second that we signed Von Miller, we knew it was risk, right? It was all risk. We knew it was basically a 3-year deal. I applauded Brandon Bean at the time for taking that swing, right? It was right after,
yeah.
13 seconds. I remember being at that, first game at SoFi. I mean, the energy was unbelievable. I don't want to qualify. I wouldn't say Von Miller was a bust per se. It just didn't have the impact that we thought it would have for enough period of time, right? Like when he was on the field and he was right, he was exactly what we were hoping for. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, the injury, in the Thanksgiving game, which was terrible, and I think that really derailed Vaughn for quite a while. But I still applaud Brandon Bean for taking that swing. It didn't quite work out in the grand scheme of it all, but it's not for his lack of effort. It wasn't for it was just that injury was really tough at his age to get over. So we wish Von well. We saved 8.4 million on the salary cap, Whittle, for that move this year. So onward and forward. And maybe who knows? Maybe Von comes back. Maybe he becomes an Adamican Sue type guy, Whittle, or maybe he picks his spots. After Fragus, he kind of winds down, right, and he can kind of take
Right.
a step back, and you never know what he's going to do. But he was a great teammate here, and we wish him well.
Yep. I think that there's a chance that he comes back,
Hmm.
at some point. Um, I believe he liked it here. And if the opportunity presents itself, I don't think anybody's going to be upset. Obviously, he's going to come in for a lot less money than he was signed
Hmm.
for, but it is what it
Yep,
is, and we
absolutely.
we move forward. Josh Allen gets an extension, $55 million a year, for I think it was what was it, a 5 year, 4 year, 5 year extension,
5 years, I believe. Yeah, $330 million.
$330 million. So it might have been 6 years, 55. Yeah,
Yep.
55, 6 years, uh, and uh, 250 of that was guaranteed. And listen, the number of 55 is not as big. I mean, when you look at 55, you look at other quarterbacks. Dak Prescott's making more than him. Um,
Hmm.
Trevor
Yep.
Lawrence is making more than him for on a year-to-year basis.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, Joe Burrow's making probably about the same. There are a bunch of guys that are going to make more than he's making on a year-to-year basis. However, none of them are guaranteed the amount of
Hmm.
money that he's guaranteed. So, um, and real quick, just about Josh Allen, I love the fact that he recognizes Buffalo took a chance on him. He did not have a great year his last year at school. It was a bit of a down year because some of the talent that was on his team left for the NFL or graduated or whatever, and they played a little tougher schedule. Um, the year before the year before he got drafted. So he didn't have the greatest year, but great Senior Bowl, great combine. Um, he wowed him in the pro day, all of these things, and the general manager and head coach by drafting Josh Allen essentially tied themselves to their jobs. Their job security is tied to the success of Josh Allen. Here we are, 7 years later, and Brandon Beane's viewed as one of the best general managers in the NFL. I mean, it's hard to make a case that he's not a top 5 GM. Um, Sean McDermott's viewed as one of the better coaches in the NFL. He gets a lot of hate, but I mean, ultimately, he's one of he's one of the most winning coaches over the span of time he's been a head coach. So, and Josh Allen's the reigning MVP. He's got better playoff numbers than just about everybody alive. He's, everything's been working in this direction. And Brandon Beane said, during his rookie year, he said, "I hope I have to pay him." And here we are. He has paid him because he's earned it. He deserves it. Josh is a great quarterback, and 250 guaranteed. Getting ready to marry a movie star. Fashion model, Vogel, all of these different things that you can attach to Miss Steinfeld, aka she's actually even a Marvel hero. Like
she is.
I mean, we got an Avenger for a quarterback, and he's about to marry an Avenger, which is crazy. So
life is pretty good for Josh Allen, I would say, at this point, right? And I just want to take I want to take a shot at somebody. This guy in New York, Craig Carton, said, "I don't understand why the Bills would do this. It doesn't save the Bills any cap room." Craig, it would take you literally 5 seconds to Google the fact that it did save the Bills money on the cap in 2024. But you know what this really does, Whittle? If he didn't sign,
saves like 11 or 12 million.
Yeah, it saves the money, but it also, listen, I know Josh Allen. We know Josh Allen doesn't go anywhere, right? But the longer he waits, the longer the outside media is going to be, well, look at maybe Josh Allen's going to leave Buffalo. He's going to go to Los Angeles with his, movie star wife, and he's going to go to Los Angeles after Matt Stafford retires. This sends the message to prospective free agents and to players that are going to re-sign with the Bills, which we had a lot, that, hey, 17 is going to be around. There's going to be leaving no doubt about it, right? Where he gets paid, and it sends the rest of the organization that message, hey, you don't have to worry about it. And even he said in his press conference today, like he has no idea. He has no desire to play anywhere else. So he made it very, very clear. But he put it when he signed that contract, it just puts that we don't have to hear about it till at least 2028, 2029. And so it's a win-win for the Bills. That's exactly what they needed, just to cement it.
And really what it is, basically what it was is a credit card, because they're going to borrow against his money over the next couple of years in order to create cap space. And so what? Because
gotta
he's
put up
great,
my favorite
and
name
he's
on
not
here.
going anywhere. Hold on one second.
I love when I see Bruce Smith on this show. I got to put that up every time. My favorite Bill of all time as well. So I had to put that. Just want to say hello, everyone in the group chat. You guys are great as always. So
wait, okay, hold on. All right, we got to get to the bottom of this, because you keep saying that this is like Bruce Smith. I know it's not the the actual Bruce Smith.
I know. I just love the fact that I see that name come up here. So that's for sure.
So, folks, the real Bruce Smith is not. Well, I'm not this. No, this gentleman is named Bruce Smith, correct?
Yeah, I
That's his
think
real
so.
name.
Yeah. But it just fires me up to see that name. He's such a
All right.
legend in Bills history. I just love it. So,
So I'm assuming that this individual is actually named Bruce Smith. He is a real person. However, he is not the former defensive end for the Buffalo Bills, number 78. That is not him. Correct?
yeah,
All right. Okay, good. Hopefully one day 78 will tap in and show
that
him
would
some love,
be
but
that would be amazing.
yeah, it
Oh yeah.
would. But yeah, I mean, you, you know, this Josh Allen trade and contract. When somebody like Craig Carton says, I don't understand why they would do that. Go look at the Cincinnati Bengals on why you pay your players before the end of their contract. That's one. That's one way to look at it. I really would not want to be in a situation where we waited until Josh is like if we waited until the end of the 2022 season to pay him 3 straight years of 4,000 passing yards, 40 total touchdowns, he would have broke us. He would have. I mean, it would have been ridiculous. You'd have to pay him, $50 million at that point, which would make his money now in the 60s, potentially even more. So Dak Prescott just got 60 last year. So the quarterbacks that are looking for deals now, like at some point they're gonna have to redo Mahomes' deal. Mahomes is gonna get $70 million.
hmm
Um,
Yep.
in a couple of years, Jaden Daniels is gonna be looking for a new deal.
Yep.
He's gonna make $1 billion. Like these guys are gonna make a lot of money. So
You know what?
I'm
Listen to
glad they got it done.
listen to this quote from Allen today. Listen. He's still making $55 million. I'm not saying, but he
Right.
said, What's five more million going to do for my life that I can't already do right now?" He said, "It's not that crazy to me. I live a pretty good life. I got a house. I got a car. I wasn't looking to kill them, and every chance I could, I told my agent that." I mean, how refreshing! Again, it's a
Yeah,
win-win.
yeah,
The guy gets paid, right? He's now tied for second with Love, and he's not number one, but it's just refreshing to hear an athlete say, where, of course, you want them to get paid, right? You don't want the owners making more, getting away with murder, essentially, with not paying the players, but they got to pay their share. But it's just nice and refreshing to see, like, hey, I wasn't going to ask for 65 million or something to really put the Bills in a bind. So that was great.
right.
So
Um,
so so with all these signings, Whittle, we had a question from
whoa,
Tina Bills
whoa,
fan.
whoa. Hold on 1 second.
Wait,
Uh,
do we have? We need a breaking news segment. We need like a little soundbite.
no, it's not breaking
Oh,
news, but the rumor mill is going. I don't want to say anything yet because
ooh.
I'm gonna rant. I'm not. I don't want to say anything right now, but there's
Let me just ask you this: is it big? Is it pretty interesting? Is
huge.
it
If this happens,
Whittle?
yeah, if this happens, if this happens, this is huge. Like
Wow.
it's gonna cost us a few draft picks, but it would be absolutely huge
Let me
if it
ask you
were
this:
to happen.
is it out of left field? Is it something that we have rarely talked about? A player that, or is it a
Yes,
player?
it's something that we rarely have talked about. Yeah, this would be.
You don't have to tell
We'll
me.
see.
I'm trying to, like, I want to get the listeners kind of thinking about it too. You know, we
Yeah.
have others saying
So all
share
right,
with the class. Here we
wait.
go.
Okay.
Whittle.
So uh, uh, can I? You sure? Like I'm.
It's up to you.
You
This is
put it out
your call.
there. So Cano David, are you saying yes? Share it because I got it from you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you said it again. You said say it again.
Say it. Yeah, well, he's saying it 3 times. So yeah, he
All right.
is. Yeah.
So the
Okay.
rumor
But this
is,
is totally
and
your call. Total.
all right. So the rumor, there's a rumor behind the Bills trying to acquire in a trade Jeffrey Simmons. Now, Listen, it's a rumor.
Did you see?
You know, Brandon Beane calls about everybody. Tennessee is in a rebuild. We have a lot of picks. A lot of picks. So I wouldn't put this past. I don't think this is something that can't happen. And we can afford it too. We can definitely afford it because he got paid already. And I don't think he's making. I mean, if somebody wants to pull up his contract, I'll pull it up. I'm
I'll
already
try
on
to
the
find it
computer
too.
now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I
helps
got
as
it.
well.
I'm just gonna pull it up on Spot
All right,
Rack
brother.
real quick.
But I'll tell you what, that would be an absolute game changer for this defense at every single level, Whittle. I mean,
Listen, as long as it doesn't cost us the first round, as long as it doesn't cost us the first, and if it
I
does
would do
cost
it.
us our first,
It's
I
fine.
would give them our first and one of our seconds this year
Mhm.
and a second next year. But
Yeah.
I want their second this year because we have to get a corner early.
Yep.
So,
Is this
but
a
Tina,
rated
to
R
answer your
show?
question,
I could put some of these other comments up, but yeah, I'll put these
all
all
right.
up
So
here. We got the comments flying.
let me answer Tina's question really, really quickly.
Yep.
What's up? What's wrong? What's going on here? Okay.
Contract here, David. Thank you, David, for that.
All right, so yeah, it's less than $20 million. It's less than 25 a year. That's probably, and that's not even. I don't think that's guaranteed either.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow. That would be, well, I would absolutely trade my first round pick in this year for that. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Nah, I can't do that, man.
Whittle, I just think,
We gotta get the corner, bro. We gotta get a corner. Like
let me ask you
I
this.
want the corner, and I need it at 30. Let's see. His cap
I
hit
do.
this year
Yeah.
is 17 and a half. Next year is 20, and the year after that is 23. So if they were to make this deal, you extend him 2 years where you stretch that money out and you give him a pay bump. That's all you
Mm-hmm.
do. And to be honest with you, I think if they did that, I think you say goodbye to Ed Oliver as well.
What if Ed Oliver's in that trade?
Wait a minute.
Now
There's a
we
potential
just,
out after this year.
yep. Speaking of Ed Oliver, we did
Only
restructure Ed.
9.6. Yeah,
We did
that was to create.
yep.
That was to create cap space
Mm-hmm.
to sign the free agents that we're going to talk about. But
Yep.
um,
10.06 we
Tina's
saved on that,
yeah.
just for everyone. Mm-hmm.
So to answer Tina's question, do I see us bringing in a veteran corner? No, I do not. And this is why. Last year we carried. So I'm going to go through the corners that we carried on the active roster last year. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Codrington, Cam Lewis, Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, Kyer Elam, Jamarcus Ingram, and Taron Johnson. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now out of those 7, yeah, I can't let that first round pick go. I'm sorry. It's number 30. Like if we give that up, we got to give up. We got to get that number 2 back. We got to get their 2 back because I got it. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to have our. We have to have that that corner. Like you get Jeffrey Simmons, first round corner for sure. And
Let me ask you this: what if it took 2 seconds to get him?
Done.
So you're okay? Okay, so our 2 seconds, because
Both
they're lower
seconds,
seconds,
done.
right? Both
Done.
seconds, like you
Done.
could maybe
Done.
entice Tennessee,
Done.
because for Tennessee to
Done.
move their franchise, defensive player, I think
Yeah.
they're going to have to sell to their fan base. Say, hey, we got this stacked draft board, we got a top pick as we reboot, our team, and he's sort of wasting away in Tennessee. Let's be fair. It's going to take them a couple of years to really get where they want to be, and then they're going to have to pay him an exorbitant amount of money to keep him. So now might be the time to really cut bait and get the best return they can as well.
Yeah. So, So the cornerbacks, we carried 7 last year. And out of the 7,
Mhm.
it's not even really 7, it's really 6 because
Mhm.
Codrington's not really, he's not going to play corner unless
Yeah.
it's if Codrington's out there, we're in trouble. But
Mhm.
he's the kick, he's the special team guy, he's the kick return. He's our kick and punt returner. So really it's Cam Lewis, Benford, Douglas Elam, Ingram, and Taron Johnson. The guys that we still have here right now. Taron Johnson, Jamarcus Ingram, Benford, Cam Lewis, and Covington. That's 5. We don't have Douglas, and we just traded Kyrie Elam. We'll get into that as well a little
Yep.
later on.
Yep.
But why I don't believe that we are going to uh, take another corner because I think we may carry an extra safety this year. We got DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop. That's 1, 2, 3. And then the guy we just brought in from the Commanders, that's 4. So we're going to carry 4 safeties. There's
Mhm.
only 2 spots left for quarterback. We may bring one in. We didn't sign any corners, right? We didn't bring any corners in, right?
No. No, we have
No, we
not.
haven't signed any corners. I don't think so, though. I don't think so. I don't think we do. There's 2 spots. We have 10 picks. I think they're just going to take 2 corners. I really do. I think they're going to take one early, and then they'll probably bring in Benford's boy, Ice Waxter, or Ice. I think his name is Ice Waxter or Issa Waxter or something like that. Um,
Mhm.
One of his teammates from Villanova. He's also a corner as well. I think they probably bring him in, or another corner in day 4 with the measurable, or day 3, excuse me, with measurables. If we do,
Mhm.
who would you want? Well, I wanted Christian Fulton, but
Mhm.
honestly, I don't want them to pay any corner before they pay Benford. Benford right now needs to get paid.
Yeah.
So don't worry about don't I don't want another. I don't want to spend any more money in the cornerback room. Just go get 2 draft picks. Get a guy in the first, and get Trey Amos, and then double back in the 4th, late 3rd with the guy from UTSA, John Frazier, 6'3", 195, 200 pounds, ran like a 4.3. I think he ran a 4.38, 4.37. Um, Really good zone corner, former receiver, really, really, really impressive ball skills. Um, Lot of length, big. Like he's like prime Rasul Douglas but faster.
Mhm.
So I like the kid a lot. I would hope that they bring him in uh,
Yep.
as well. But
Hey, Whittle, any shot of you being interested in an old Bill, former top 10 pick, 34-year-old?
no,
You already know what I'm going to say, right? I don't even have to tell you
yeah,
his name. So you're
I
saying
don't
no,
want
even though he's
Stephon
been
Gil.
playing
I
pretty
like
solid?
Gilmore, man. Issa
Yeah.
Waxer, yeah, that's him. Issa's Waxer. I do not want Gilmore back. Um,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong. I think Gilmore can still play corner. I don't
Mhm.
think he can play it past this upcoming season, though.
Yeah, I was just thinking of a one-year guy, just a depth piece that maybe could
Yeah.
help some of the younger guys, or
Nah, if
just that,
Gilly comes
that's
here,
because
Gilly
that's,
wants to
yeah,
play. Gilly want to play.
yeah.
Gilly comes here, he's gonna want to play, and I'm good on that, man. We had corners that couldn't stick with receivers and
Mhm.
man, and we're gonna play a lot more man, and he's more of a read and react guy at this point. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, listen, if Gilmore switched to safety, I think he could play 2 or 3 more years at a high level, but.
Mhm.
Let's
Yep.
let's get let's get a little bit back on track. Um,
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we talked about the Josh signing. I love the fact that Josh respects he recognizes that the Bills took a chance on him. Brandon
Mhm.
Beane and Sean McDermott really tied their job security to him. And he was a wild card pick because a lot of people said that this guy was not going to pan out. And they said he was too inaccurate. They said he would never develop, and he proved a lot of those guys wrong. So um, he respects that, and I think he gave us a bit of a hometown discount. I love Josh Ford. He
Mhm.
wants this team. He actually wants the team to be good. He's not like one of those guys that says, "I want to win," but then when somebody, throws $40 million in their face, they say, "Well, I'll stick around and collect the check."
Yeah. Cleveland suddenly looked a lot
Unlike,
better to somebody for
unlike, unlike, unlike some people in Cleveland, we know. Um,
that.
But let's get into the free agency moves we made. Ty
Yep.
Johnson was re-signed. Do you have the numbers
Mhm.
on those guys? All right, so I'll
Uh,
let you run through them, and then we'll talk.
yep.
Let's let's let's
So,
go with let's go with the guys that we brought back that were on the team last year. So that would be Ty Johnson, Reggie Gilliam, and Hamlin. I don't
yep.
think we
Now I
brought
know Ty
anybody else
Johnson
back.
got a 2-year deal.
Yep.
It's a $5 million contract, so very
Mhm.
reasonable. Is a guy of obviously we know what Ty is capable of. I feel like
Yep.
he's a guy that I'd be comfortable if I needed to spot start once or twice or get a lion's share of carries in a game here and there. I mean, we know we could do on third down, and I'm thrilled with that we kept him. I thought that maybe like our Mac Hollis got a good contract from New England. I thought maybe he would go the same route, but good for Ty. I'm glad to have him back into the fold. I believe Damar Hamlin is 1 year, 3 million from what I'm seeing. Whittle on Damar Hamlin right now. I mean, we hope that he's more of a depth guy at this point. That he's not our starting safety. For the 2025 season. And I think the answer to this is a yes, by the way. I think James Cook is posting again. So I
We're
think
gonna get into
Minnesota want
that.
to
We're
trade him
gonna get
more.
into that.
We'll get to that later. So we will for sure. Uh, we had a lot of re-signings. I mean, we had Terrell Bernard as well, right? Last week, up, his again. That he signed his contract. I'm trying to get all those numbers in one place. There are so many
Oh,
numbers to go through.
yeah, well, I talked about those last week, like the guys that
Oh,
that we
okay.
signed last week.
Gotcha.
Him, Shakir, and
Okay.
Russo. We discussed those.
Got it. Okay,
Um,
perfect. Okay. So we'll leave. That feels like such a long time ago. We've had so much news since
yeah,
then. So,
but
what I love
um,
is that, and that's an extension of free agency too, everyone. I mean, we talk about free agency frenzy, you talk about keeping the right core. And I think you have to thread it into the mix. Like, I know everybody wants to sign the big splashy free agents, but name me the last team that won a Super Bowl that signed a lot of free agents in the free agency season.
the Eagles.
I guess, but they still, but what was the key of the Eagles though? They drafted very, very, very well. Like
Yeah,
I mean, they got bludgeoned this week because of the fact they drafted so well. They made
yeah,
savvy moves. I mean, Howie Roseman's one of the he's like the NFC Brandon Bean. He's incredible, right? So how he gets these players is beyond me. So,
yeah.
but
But let's be honest though. Milton Williams, Zach Bond, Josh Sweat,
mhm.
Saquon Barkley, uh,
Barkley was a big move, yes, for sure. But
Becton. Becton
yep,
was a signing. I mean, they got a lot of their guys that they
yep.
got in there.
Hmm.
Were
Well, yeah,
Slay.
I
Slay
mean
was a signing.
Becton was a good chance that they took, and that really paid. He hasn't signed yet. I'm surprised that he hasn't signed
He's
anywhere yet.
gonna get a
So,
deal though. He's
oh
gonna
yeah,
end up
if
getting
I were him,
paid.
I'd stay with Philly. I would stay with Philly if I were him, but we'll see what he does.
Well,
But
Philly
yeah,
already
no, it's
traded.
true.
Philly made a trade. Philly made a trade with Houston for
Hmm.
Kenyon Green, their
Hmm.
guard. I think he's a right guard.
Yeah, you're right.
He- can't remember where he went to school. Somewhere in the SEC, I believe. But Kenyon Green was traded for, and
Mhm.
yeah, so they've already put their backup plan there. I think it's pretty certain that he's gone. But um,
Mhm.
listen, Ty Johnson, great signing, very explosive player, long speed, great receiver out of the backfield. Really good in keeping Josh's blind side clean as a blitz pickup, as a third down running back. You know, his pass blocking is the best on the team. So out of the running backs, his pass blocking is the best on the team. Um, I was very nervous about him pricing himself out. And while I'm highlighting Ty Johnson being back, shout out to Mac Hollins.
Mhm.
I know he's no longer a member of the Buffalo Bills, but I personally am going to miss Mac Hollins being a part of
Yes.
this team. He was only here for 1 year. I wish he could have retired as a Bill. But he
Yeah.
got signed 2 years, basically 8.4 million guaranteed, 10 point I think it's 10.4 or 10.2
Yeah. I think
um
so.
with the incentives and likely to earn bonuses. So Um, it's unfortunate, man. This is the part of free agency that you don't like is the fact that guys that you really want back on the team they're not coming back because they've priced themselves out. He was excellent for us. And shout out to Mac Hollins. I wish you the best. 15 out of 17 games next year. And I got a good feeling that we're gonna end up seeing Mac in the playoffs. If not this year, next year. I think the Patriots are well on their way to being a playoff team. That's where Becton might end up. You know, they got a lot of money. I would sign them. It's another way to stick it to the Jets too. That would be perfect. Um, Hamlin coming back.
Mhm.
Not a move that I saw. I'm guessing because of the length of time that he signed and
Yep.
the amount, there wasn't really a market for him. I thought
Mhm.
Hamlin was a solid starter. I thought he was. I thought he was. I thought he was adequate. I thought he was. I'm not even saying he was above average in zone coverage.
Mhm.
I would even go as far as to say I think he was good in zone coverage last year. He was below average in man coverage, or he was awful in man coverage, below average in defending the run. But you know, the man had like 3 picks. He had like 3 or 4 picks 3 or 4 interceptions last year. Granted, he was just kind of like in the right place at the right time, but sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes when you work hard, the ball kind of finds you. And, you know, he earned that spot last year. He'll get another shot to fight for it again this year. I don't think he'll win it, but he'll get another shot at it.
Mhm.
What else? Who else? I think
Oh,
that's it for the
Reggie
guys that
Gilliam.
we brought back.
You know,
Oh, Reggie
Reggie
Gilliam.
Gilliam we brought back in.
Yeah, Reggie Gilliam, fullback. We use him. We use him sparingly. I think I'd like to see him get the ball a little more, especially in the passing game. I think he's a solid receiver. Um, you know, he does a good job as a lead blocker. He plays special teams. He's on the field more often than not. You don't see him a lot on offense, but he's one of the core special teams guys that we have. So shout out to Reggie Gilliam, man. I'm glad he's back. Another guy that I did not want to lose, and I'm glad that we were able to secure him. Now let's get into the guys that we brought in.
Mhm.
All right, so first, I'm gonna go in order. Josh Palmer signs a 3-year deal worth $36 million. I believe only 24 is guaranteed, or is it 27?
For Josh Palmer, let me double check that here for us.
Well, while Beyond's looking, so let's talk a little bit about Josh Palmer. Josh
3 year.
Palmer is
Oh,
26
3
years old.
years. Yep, 3 years, 36 mil, 18 million guaranteed.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, 6 million. So and he's never. I don't think he's ever gonna hit that 12 a year. I don't think he's ever gonna hit it. Um, wow, he really signed for them. Wow, that's a great deal for him. I top to the guys. So we get him from the Los Angeles Chargers. It's crazy because like almost every free agent we signed from another team came from an LA team. It was either the Chargers or the Rams. So Josh Palmer comes over and he's going to immediately fill a role that we've been trying to fill for a little while. He's going to essentially be, and I'm just going to say it. You guys are going to say you're crazy. He's the Stephon Diggs replacement. The reason why I say this is because they're similarly built. He's 6'1", 200 plus pounds. So he's a little bigger than Stephon Diggs, but he is excellent against man coverage. Like he's very good at creating separation. Separation. He's a very good route runner. Um, he is he's a very reliable receiver. I'm looking at his stats now, and so we gotta get no, not there. All right, so 2022, right? 2022 um is the year where he saw like the most production, and that was the year that Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both went down. So he was kind of the go-to guy. 72 receptions on 107 targets for a 67% catch percentage. Pretty good. It's actually very good.
Hmm.
769 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. He caught out of his 72 receptions, 39 of them were for first downs. 39 of them. That's very good. He's a chain mover. He's a guy that's reliable. He's going to be the go-to guy on third down. Um, he's going to be the guy that we depend on to win against man-to-man teams. And the teams that we play that like to go man, the
Hmm.
Baltimore Ravens like to go man-to-man against us. The Kansas City Chiefs like to go man-to-man against us. We're going to go against a bunch of I've had Tom Telesco drafted him. Oh yeah. Yeah, Tom Telesco spoke very highly of him. I went back, folks, and watched all of his targets from his first 4 games last year. It was against the Raiders, Broncos, not Chargers, Chiefs, and
Hmm.
Panthers.
Okay.
And um, he put Trent McDuffie in hell a couple of times. Are we calling it for OBJ? Kurt? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's over. OBJ's done. But that's not football related. But yeah, he's finished. Yeah, that's that. If your favorite player is getting attached to Sean Puffy Diddy Combs in any way at this point in time, it is
It's
curtains for
game
him.
over.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
Kurt. It's
grand
Hoytons.
opening, grand closing. OBJ's done. He's never going to play in the
Yep.
NFL again.
Yep.
And we might wipe him from the memory banks, man. It's over for him. Yeah, it's curtains for OBJ. Done.
Yep. Yep.
Dunzo.
Yep.
It's over.
Hmm.
But Josh Palmer, solid player. Never really got the opportunity to kind of stand out uh in LA.
Hmm.
You know, like I said, he had a good year in 2022. 2023, they drafted Quentin Johnson. Um, they lost
Hmm.
Mike Williams. They lost
Yep.
um and Keenan Allen was like in and
Keenan
out of the
Allen.
lineup,
Yep.
but yeah. So
Hmm.
you know, I mean, Josh Palmer's a dog, man. I like him a lot. And very good route runner. Like I said, he put McDuffie in hell a couple of times. Solid signing. Not gonna hurt us cap wise. And yeah, so I think it's a good signing. I think this is a guy that people are going to look back on in another year or two and say, how much did they pay for him? Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That was an underpayment. Like they really got
absolutely.
over on him.
Yep,
So,
and he is from Ontario, so he's not terribly far from
yes,
Western New York. So that's kind of a sort of homecoming-ish for him. You know, it's closer to home. So again, that's important when you're talking about Buffalo. Is players got to be happy there too, and it's a unique market compared to like Los Angeles or Dallas or New York or
right.
Miami. So there are challenges there that they do have. But I agree. I really like that move, and it is unfortunate to see Mac House go. We wish him well, not too much. I did like the meme where somebody put up the Travis Kelsey of Mac Hollis's face when Mr. Brightside's playing when they're down 24, and it's got that picture of Travis Kelsey kind of sulking on the sidelines. I said, yeah. So let's hope that's the case just for that game. But we do wish Mac well for sure. He was definitely one of our favorites. So, Whittle, would you
Yeah,
like to move into another player now?
I'm hurt, man.
Yeah,
This Mac
yeah.
Hollins thing, I didn't take. I'm not taking it well, man.
You
He
were
went to
you
the
were
Patriots, which even
yeah.
pisses me off more.
Yeah,
I'm not
but I'll
taking
tell you
that.
what,
I'm not taking
you were
that, bro.
you when a lot of people weren't a major fan of that move, you were one of the strong advocates for Mac Hollison. You were turned out to be right. He had an excellent year for the Bills and did
I,
all the things
I,
that you mentioned that we needed. And
yeah,
yeah, he will be missed though. There's part of his game we're gonna miss. We're gonna have to replace that. So
yeah.
that's
I
not
don't want
gonna
to toot
be
my own horn, guys. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot, man. I was right. Like
it's okay. Your
like I be
co-host will take
cooking.
care of that. We
I
got
be cooking
you.
sometimes, man. I
Yep.
be cooking
There's
sometimes.
Dale. Yep, Dale
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome,
A
Dale.
lot
Good
of
to see
people
you in
gave me
here.
a lot of crap about him, and I told you guys like he's going to
Hmm.
be a dog for us.
Yep.
I'm telling you now, from what I've watched of Josh Palmer, dog. People stop crying about we need to get another wide receiver. I'm telling you, this guy Joshua Palmer in this offense, I'm going on record right now. I'm gonna go on record right now. Josh Palmer this year, barring injury, if he plays, I'd say if he plays 15 games, at least 15 games, at least 14. I'll go with 14. Let's make it even spicier. I'm going with 14. If he plays at least 14 games, he's going to have
Hmm.
65 receptions and over 800 yards. And probably, I'm going to give him between 5 to 7 touchdowns. And that may not seem like a
Yep.
lot, but remember, the Bills run the
Hmm.
ball a ton.
Hmm.
The Bills are, I appreciate that, David. Um, Thank you guys. You guys are going to make me blush. Don't do that.
Nah, you deserve it. Well, it's all
um,
good. It's true. So yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so the reason why I'm giving those numbers out is because I think that they're going to give Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid a really strong opportunity to bounce back and have better years than they had last year. I also think this is the year where Khalil Shakir gets over 1,000 yards. I think Josh is going to throw the ball a lot more this year. And
Hmm.
I'm going to just go out and say it now, man. Keon,
Hmm.
800 plus. He's getting 800 yards, guys. Josh Palmer's gonna
Yep.
have 800 plus. And I
Oh yeah.
think Shakir goes over 1,000. I think the tight ends don't have as many yards as we think. I think that you'll probably get around 1,000 out of the two tight ends. But I think between the two tight ends, you're gonna see between 10 and 12 touchdowns between the two of them. I
Hmm.
think they're gonna have a good, possibly more. Like
Yep.
Kincaid and Dawson Knox, I think are going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. Um, I don't know what to think of James Cook right now, but we'll get into that later.
Yep.
Another now
We will for sure.
we did sign a Los Angeles Rams defensive lineman, not the one I wanted. I wanted Bobby Brown Jr. I wanted Bobby Brown Jr. guys, and
Hmm.
we didn't get him. However, we got another Canadian, Michael Hoyt. I believe
Yep.
that's how you say it.
That is
Um,
right. Yep. Welcome to Buffalo, Michael Hoyt.
I'm gonna be honest, folks. I haven't had time to get into his film. I will do that. Um, I have another wedding to go to this weekend, so most of that time will be spent on NFL Pro,
Mhm.
watching film while the festivities are going on.
You're gonna
But
sneak in those
my
looks on there,
understanding,
Whittle, during the ceremony, right?
well, I'm not
While you're
sneaking
getting.
anything. I'm gonna have my phone out, like, you know, no problem.
I love
Now,
it.
hold on. All right, I didn't get yelled at. All right, we're good. Um, yeah. So, from my understanding, from the LA Rams people that talk to me, that I know, they all said pretty much the same thing. They said
Hmm.
he is a movable chess piece. If you're a chess player, think of he's not the
Hmm.
queen,
Hmm.
but he's like a bishop or a rook or a rook or what
A
is the
rook.
rook?
A rook. Yeah, rook. Yep.
Rook.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Now, I do play chess, guys. I haven't played in a long time, but I do know how to play. So the rook, he's either the rook or the bishop. Very, very important. Limited, limited. He's not a stud. He's not like one of the best. He's not going to be the best player in your defense, but he's going to be a guy that does a lot of different things. That like he's a jack of all
Hmm.
trades. Yeah,
Hmm.
there you go.
I
So
agree with Dale on that. Yep.
last year we had Dewan Smoot, right? And Dewan Smoot was the guy that we brought in to be really good against the run. And sometimes you threw him on the inside because you wanted to get a little bit faster. You wanted to get a little more pass rush pop on the inside, but you didn't want to give up a ton of strength. I think this is a guy that does kind of he does multiple jobs, but not like Dewan Smoot. So he's a guy that you can put on the edge,
Hmm.
and he's going to give you that motor. He's going to give you that strength. He's got a heck of a RAS score. His RAS score was like a 9.6, something crazy like that.
Huge.
Um,
Yep. Huge score.
yeah, bro, like his measurables are impressive. But he's going to give you that pass rush. He's going to give you that presence on the edge. He's going to be good
Hmm.
against the run. He's going to set the edge. He's also going to be a guy that you can drop into coverage from the line. So that's
Hmm.
going to allow Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott to really get creative with when they want to send extra pressure, where they send it from, and how effective it's going to be. And it's going to and having a guy like that, you can take away drag routes, you can take away things that really hurt us this past year in
Yep.
man coverage. So things like drag
I mean,
routes, quick, in routes, uh, you know, throws out into the flat, all of those different things. So,
he's a very Billsy player, right? Whittle, six
yeah,
foot four.
yeah,
He can play multiple
hmm
positions.
yeah,
Another Oakville, Ontario product.
yeah.
Another guy that's kind of from around the area. Contract, 3 years, 21 mil, 4.39 mil bonus, 3 million
He's young.
guaranteed
Yeah,
salary. Yep. Yep, absolutely.
he's
So
young.
two
30,
voidable years in
26, I
28,
think.
29.
26, 25,
Yeah,
26. Yeah,
27 actually. Just well,
27. Okay.
yeah, but solid. Again, 3 years. Like I said, a
Yeah.
movable chess piece. A guy that's gonna help in a lot of ways. So I thought it was a very solid move. I did talk to some Ram fans out here that are really in tune with the team, and they both thought that was a very good move. It's always I like to I like to get those opinions from other fans that not just reactionary fans like knee jerk fans. So it's good to hear that feedback. Like they were pretty upset to lose him. So definitely,
Right.
absolutely. So
So yeah. All right. So his cap hit year one, 4.5 million, not bad. Uh potential out, potential out after 2026, which is good. So if he stinks, then we're out of there. Um Cap hit is 7.5 the year after, 7.2 the final year of his contract. And the void
mhm.
years are
They got 20,
8
28,
points.
29.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
8.78. That's like it's less than 100. It's less than a million for both years. So whatever. Like I think it's a good move. Um,
Yep.
it gives you one thing. It does is they got younger on the defensive line, right? Smoot was 30. I think Smoot was already 30. Casey Tuhill was 30. Um,
Hmm.
Von Miller's 36. So
Yeah.
bringing a guy like that in is good because he's young. In the prime of his life. Cool. The next player
Absolutely.
that was signed, which was a shot in that I had no clue this was coming. Former Los Angeles Chargers defensive end, one of the best pass rushers of this generation, Joey Bosa. I was very, very, very surprised to see that. Um, Bosa's been a really good pro. Injuries have hurt his impact over the last, 3 or 4 years. I'd say probably like the last 3 years, but Bosa's a dog, man. Like, I mean, if you like, come on, everybody who watches the NFL, you know who Joey Bosa is. Like, he's a
Hmm.
dog. His brother is slightly younger, slightly more talented, slightly less likable. Plays for the 49ers, Chris. But Joey's 29. He's going to be 30 soon. But he's got, I mean, God, he's got 72 sacks in his career.
Hmm.
Okay. 72 sacks in his career. He's been in the league 9 years. So he's going into year 10.
Hmm.
Um, was he, wait. Was this,
Yeah.
where's
And
his
to note,
awards?
he's a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Yep.
That he is. He
Mhm.
was Defensive Rookie of the Year in
Yep.
2016. 5-time Pro Bowler, and to note what, like you said, he's had the double-digit sacks 4 years, but there
Mhm.
were a couple of years, like for example, in 2018, he played 7 games and had 5.5 sacks, so that probably would have been one. And he had some years where he played 5 games, and he had some where he played 12, so and 9. So maybe those years he would have had double-digit sacks. So
He played
you
nine
just
games
hope.
at 6.5 sacks. That's crazy. That's
Mhm.
2023.
Yep.
Nine
And I
games,
think
six and a
this
half
is
sacks.
Yep, this is the biggest thing. If healthy, he's a game wrecker. And I like bringing him in for the 1 year. I think, if this was a 3 or 4 year deal, I maybe have some more reservations about it, in
Right.
terms of that. But it's a prove it deal. They could bring him back. Let's say he loves Buffalo. You never know. He may come here and say, I really love this place. And maybe he'll just say, hey, let's get a deal that's good for both sides. And maybe he sticks around for a couple of years. But we'll see. We'll have to worry about that next year. But yeah, I think it's a good roll of dice considering again the 1 year. I
One
believe
year,
he did
12 is
get
some
what,
change.
12. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm fine with it. Like it's not
Abs-
I don't feel like we overpaid. I don't feel like we and the fact that we didn't make a long-term commitment to a guy like that, I'm good with. And I also think this works out for him. Like just a good situation for everybody involved. He really contemplated playing with his brother. He's going to play in Buffalo. He said he was going to play in Buffalo this year and then revisit the possibility of playing with his brother next year. So um,
Mhm.
I don't
It
expect him to be back. I expect him to come here, play well. Hopefully, we win a Super Bowl and then go out to San Francisco and play with your brother. We're going to draft a replacement anyway this year in the draft. No
Yep.
shade on Joey Bosa, but he's been very injured.
No, absolutely.
Last time
Yeah,
he played a
so
full season was 2021. 2022, 5 games.
mhm.
2023, 9 games. 2024, 14 games. But
Mhm.
he you know, yeah, I'm good on him, man. I'm good on him. Like I'm perfectly fine with the signing. But I'm not a player I want to commit to long term. Uh and let's
Last
take a moment now and get with the sponsors, brother.
You got it.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
You know, Whittle, in a move that just made me chuckle, just in case our Jet informant is out there somewhere lurking. Remember, we were told the impact this guy was going to have on the Jets. Well, who says you can't come home? Mike Williams is back with the Los Angeles Chargers. So there you go, Whittle. I just figured you would get a kick out of that. In terms of the Florida Park crew were telling us all off season about that move and what the impact was going to be. So just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, he's whatever. Yeah, that and what is it? The other move that I thought was freaking hilarious. The Jets signing Justin Fields as their starting quarterback. Oh
Yeah,
man, we lost
yeah.
mistakes, bro.
By the way, it's kind of funny, Whittle. I was in a space with jokes when Twitter was down, and I did mention what about Justin Fields, and you could just imagine what Jokes was saying and some of the other Jeff. Not an option that they were thrilled with. So I can only imagine.
I'm sure he wasn't.
what
I'm sure he
saying.
wasn't happy.
No, he was not. So, but we pivot, and we have a last but not least. We did make a move that I was a little surprised about. I didn't just have this guy on my radar. For the Buffalo Bills, former Pittsburgh Steeler, defensive
Cincinnati
tackle,
Bengal,
Cincinnati
Cleveland Brown.
Bengal, and we'll bring up his graphic here. Larry, is it Umjobi? Did I say that correctly?
Ojanobi.
Ojanobi, thank you. So we brought him in from the Pittsburgh Steelers, defensive tackle. It's another 1-year deal for, I believe, $8.3 million and $8 million guaranteed, which is so. What are your thoughts on bringing in Larry here? What's your first reaction to that?
So I did not get an opportunity to watch his. I didn't get an opportunity to watch him yet, and I don't think I really want to watch anything with the Steelers because the Steelers play in odd front. We play an even front. He was way more productive in even front schemes. So I think the Bengals and the Browns film will be probably more applicable. But then you get into he's about to be 31, and when he played with the Browns, that was 3 years ago. So he was 27 going into 28, so all of the years that we would be watching that would be applicable based on the defensive scheme would be, his prime athletic years. So it's going to be hard to judge, but what the consensus among the people who wait a minute. Oh, I like him now. I like him.
Why?
I like him now.
What happened?
Born June 3rd, 1994 in Livingston, New Jersey. Welcome to the team, Larry.
All right. Yes.
Welcome to the team, Larry.
I like it. Okay.
And while we're at it,
go.
let's bring back Rasul Douglas to safety depth. That's another conversation.
I gotta bring up this quote again. I love this here. He's whatever. Little 2K. Amazing. That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I don't...
6'3", 305.
Right.
The first guy I'm thinking about is, remember when Poona Ford was here? Wasn't a great fit. But then you see he left. I mean, could we get a Poona Ford in our favor this time with this move potentially?
I think so because Poona Ford went to a scheme. He went to a system that favors what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
or code some of this stuff.
So that's what I was thinking in that term.
Okay.
Maybe. And again, it's a 1 year deal, but I was kind of hoping for a different type of defensive tackle in this. But again, the market is just
Yeah.
so rich right now for these guys.
Well,
8 million is just a normal
yeah,
contract at this point.
and this is what bothers me about the Ojanobi deal. I I don't doubt that Ojanobi is going to be a solid player. I don't doubt that he's going to fit better in this scheme. I don't doubt that he's not productive. Um, Obviously, things have changed within the last 2 minutes. Finding out he's from New Jersey, now fine. Like I'm glad he's on the team, but solely for the fact that he's from New Jersey. I can drive to his neighborhood. I can
There
drive
you
to
go.
in
Mhm.
they're
Yeah,
right up
you are close. Yep.
they're right up 280, right up 280. So I think he's going to be fine. What I look at though is last year we took Dwayne Carter with a
Mhm.
3rd round pick. I thought Dwayne Carter was good before he got injured. I'm wondering how much of Ed or Dwayne snaps does Larry eat into? That's the issue for me. Um, Now, if they're bringing him in as just in case and say, look, if Dwayne stinks, you're going to play more. But if he doesn't stink, then, we'll kind of keep you on ice until the playoffs and just kind of let you pop in here and there. We'll manage everybody's snaps. Fine. Um, but I don't want it to cut into the development. Yeah, we
Mhm.
saw that Mac Jones to the 49ers.
I
Ladies
just
and
what
gentlemen, the Niners are in a rebuild. Like I know they don't want to say this, but they are in a rebuild. And I know some really cool Niner fans. Um,
So are you
shout
saying
out
we
to
can? Are you saying
Snuggie.
we can? Whittle, are we saying we could certify that to be true? If you get my little pun there, but
Oh God. Yeah, I mean
I could resist,
that
Will.
guy's an idiot. That guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whatever. Uh but shout out to the Niner fans. Like when we played the
Yeah.
Niners last year, they came out in full force. Like it was a lot of Niner fans at that game. The tailgate was absolutely amazing. Ain't
Hmm.
no party like 49ers tailgate party. It was
Yeah,
off
they're
the hook. Like
pretty.
I had a great time tailgating with the Niner fans. Like
Yeah.
they give it up how we give it up. But
Yep.
they want another level. Like it was they know how to tailgate. I give them that.
Hmm.
They know how to tailgate. But shout out Ferb, shout out all them guys that and we met and
Yeah. We just some
that
good
partied
ones
with
out
us
there
out
for
there.
sure.
We had a good time. The game didn't go the way they wanted, but we had a good time. Shout out to the faithful. They did their thing. It sucks that they're in this position right now. They also have $86 million in dead cap as well this season, and they have 21 million built in for 2026 already. Free agency just started, so um, the bill comes due, folks. It always comes due. The salary cap is real, and the bill does come due. But anyway,
Yep, it does. Ask the Saints.
yeah. So where were we? We were talking about Larry. Okay, so Larry. What we need is a defensive tackle that basically what we need is a zero tackle, one tack, a two gapper, right? And we'll get into what these things mean next week. I'm gonna bring on a coach that
Excellent.
I've had conversations with. He coaches I think he coaches defensive line and offensive line. I'm pretty sure he coaches defensive line and offensive line. His name is Coach Oliver, and he'll be joining us next week.
Nice.
Um, so Coach O will be on next week, and I may have an offensive line coach on next week as well. And I'm working on something else for next week. But I'm for sure gonna have Coach O on next week, and
Look forward to that.
I may have two coaches next week. So next week's going to be very very heavy in the trenches, and it's going to be a informative pod where we talk
Mhm.
about. So a lot of you guys that are in these football spaces or in these football conversations or just watching television, you hear terms like 3 tech, 5 tech, 1 tech, you 0 tech. You hear those things. 4 technique. You hear all those things. You hear A gap, B gap, C gap, and you probably be honest. A lot of y'all don't know what it means.
That's
And
and we're proud of it, Mark. We are proud
right.
of it.
And we're next week we'll get into some explanations on what exactly that means, these things, what they mean.
Yep.
Um and then we'll talk a little bit about we'll drill down on some defensive tackles and I'm gonna cut up some film and things like that and
Yep.
we'll get into that next week.
And
Um
for everybody out there that does mock drafts and things like that, you're looking to identify. This is important. This is going to be great stuff. I can't wait for it because sometimes you'll say, "Oh, I like this defensive tackle," but if we already have a couple 3 techs, why do we want to add another 3 tech? Right? Maybe we have a need as a 1 tech, and you'll understand how we get into that next week. So I'm looking forward to it as well. Right? We're all going to learn. So that's good. I'm excited for next week's podcast.
so listen, next week, um when we have these coaches on, have your questions ready. So, again, we started this pod 80 episodes ago or whatever for it to be informative. We wanted to, that was my goal was to educate the fan base, educate the fans so that we can have better conversations, better understanding of the game that we all love. But all right, so where are we at? All right, so Larry Ginobili. I have not looked at him, but I'm sure he's a good fit. What I'm hearing is very disruptive, very good against the run, powerful player. Um, and yeah, I'll get into him a little bit more. I'll get into his film a little bit more, and then we can discuss in greater detail. I have a better understanding of how good he is and what he brings to the table. But I'm trusting the people that have told me he's good. I trust their football acumen. I trust their eye. I trust their ability to decipher who's good and who's not. So if they're saying he's good, he's good. I'm gonna take their word for it, and we're gonna keep it pushing. There was another signing. I am very excited about this young man. Free safety he came from the Commanders. The kid goes by the name of Derek Foster. Uh,
Yep.
very, very speedy, powerful player. Can play in the box. Can play as the deep safety. Um, I think he's going to function well. Like now, so some of the Commander fans were saying that he doesn't. He's not as good as. I mean, he's not really a deep safety, but everything that I saw him do from depth, I mean, he looked good. Like his back pedal was sound, his ability to track the football was there. Um, I gotta get to it a little bit more because this just happened today. His transition looked fluid from his back pedal to his stride. I thought it was
Hmm.
fluid, but let's see how consistently he does it. I'll get into it and see, um, exactly how good he is. Honestly, I think he's probably insurance for Cole Bishop. I think they're very
Hmm.
comfortable with Taylor Rapp as the free safety. Um, and if you haven't noticed, Bills fans, if you haven't noticed, take a look at the safeties that we had. Right, so Hamlin, 6 feet tall, a little bit under 200 pounds. We drafted him like 4 or 5 years ago. Um, Micah Hyde, 6 feet, 195. Jordan Poyer, 6 feet, 195, 200 pounds.
Hmm.
Those are the guys we had before. Look at the safeties we have now. Taylor Rapp, 6'2", 215. Cole Bishop, 6'2", 220, 215, 220. They brought in Lewis Shane last year, 6'2", 6'3", 225 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
super athletic. This kid Foster, I believe he's big too. Like, let me check. Let me check right now. Derek, am I
Yeah,
saying
it's a
is it
one.
Forrest?
I think it's
It's
Forest, I
Foster,
believe.
right?
I think it's
Forrest. Oh,
Far.
see, it's
Yep, F
Forrest.
O
All right.
R. Derek Forrest, Darrick Forrest. He is from Columbus, Ohio. 5'11", 200 comes in at
Okay. All
the
right. So
one I'm
more of a
seeing.
free safety type.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Hmm.
if you look at what they've been drafted, if you look at what they've been going after, free
Hmm.
agency, I mean, they're going after guys that are bigger.
Hmm.
So it's all part of let's stay in this nickel defense, and the way we're going to do it is by getting bigger and better up front, and by well, what's this?
Hmm.
Wait, is it this? Oh, never mind. All right, that's something else. I'm
Yep.
sorry, guys. I'm
He.
just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Like people are. I don't want to miss any moves or anything else
I would
that
love to
happened.
see us break something huge, like a after dark
Right.
triple B bean special coming in
Be,
right now. Wouldn't that be something? But
being after dark.
Forrest. Listen, Forrest had a good year in 22.
Yep.
With the Commanders. He had 88 tackles, 4 interceptions, but then he got a shoulder injury in 2023, and then a new coaching regime came in 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe again,
Yep.
like you said about fit, such a big thing that it doesn't get talked about enough amongst football fans, right? In any sport, really, but especially football. And sometimes you just need a change of scenery. We'll get to one of our other moves on that front as well. So sometimes that's all it takes. I mean, guy, whatever new, like I said, new coach comes in, change of philosophy becomes available. 1.337 million. Excellent signing. I agree. Just more depth
Yeah.
that they can bring in. So it's an excellent fit.
True. So what else? Yeah, so great segue. We'll get right into the
Mhm.
trade that was made today. Uh Cornerback Kyer Elam was traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a we received a fifth round pick and some future draft compensation. I think it's a pair of sevenths in the future, seventh round picks, and then we gave them our later sixth round pick for Kyrie Elam. So not that Kyrie Elam's a bad player. Well, he's bad. He was bad. He was bad for the Bills. I don't think he was ever the right player. He was never the right fit. But they drafted him, and they tried to turn him into something that he's not, which is a a zone based corner. That's not his game. He's a press man guy that is going to require a team that has a really good pass rush that's going to get home.
Mhm.
He's athletic. He can make plays on the football, and unfortunately, it just never
Mhm.
worked out here.
Yep.
But
Yep. I always thought
it
he
is
was a
what it
guy
is.
that he had a good outlook. Whittle. He is again. Sometimes it's like you work for any company or anybody, and sometimes it just doesn't work out, right, for whatever reason. And
Right.
we wish Kyrie Elam well. He wasn't a guy that made a lot of waves or anything. He was a former first round pick. So
Yep.
he didn't act. Some guys that are first round picks, they come in with that chip, and when things like this go wrong, he could go the media or something. He never did that. So we wish him well. He had he had a couple good moments with the Bills. I remember that big interception was against Kansas City. I remember he came in. Of course, it wasn't good last year in the AFC title game. We all, it's well documented that I think that was basically the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, for his time in Buffalo. And maybe with Dallas, pressure's off a little bit. In that case, maybe he can excel in Dallas's system. So, and what
Yep.
do we got? A fifth
Um,
round pick? Is it this year? Yeah, we got
this year.
a fifth round pick this year. and then we gave a 6th, and then we picked up a 7th in 2026, I believe. So
Yep.
we're already on the board with 8 picks in 2026 next year already. So good to see Beams getting a little bit extra. You never have enough. So
Yeah. And you know, we're gonna get another comp pick for Mac Hollins too. Like Mac's gonna earn us, but I don't know because the way the comp formula works, I think we probably canceled that out at this point. We need some more of our guys to get signed elsewhere though. Maybe we'll get another one. But so I know a lot of people have been kind of I'm just gonna say a lot of people have been downright mean with the things that they've been posting on in reference to Kyrie Elam and him being traded. I made a tweet and said end of an era. ERROR. And
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. When I posted that, it wasn't because I think Kyrie is just awful. I just think it was a bad pick. I just think it was a bad pick for us. It was a bad pick for him. It was a bad fit. And we can all focus on the time he looked like he was tripping all over his feet trying to cover a Chiefs receiver, or the fact that he gave too much cushion in the AFC Championship game, or we can look at how he didn't really perform well against Calvin Ridley, and we can all focus on that, or we can take a look at the good moments too, because there were more good moments than there were bad. I'm sorry. He had an up and down tenure with the Bills, and the good was early, the bad was late. But before I'm gonna send him off correctly, and we'll play a little video. This is against the Chiefs. He should have had that big.
Nice.
That's him stripping the football.
I remember that play. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I believe this was a third down stop. He probably should have got flagged on that, though, to be honest.
Yeah. You can make the argument, yeah. And you still see some of those glimpses here, Will, right? I mean,
yeah.
He's still young too. I mean, he's got
that was the playoff game. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was the playoff game, 22. Underthrown football. But you still got to make the play. Still got to make the play.
Absolutely. Yep. Nice.
That was this was 2022. Yeah, 2022 Kyrie was a dog, man. Like his rookie year, bro, he was amazing.
Yeah.
He really was good his rookie year. It's unfortunate,
we had
though.
so much hope for him at that point, right? So
those are the flashes, bro, and that's really good. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. That's Tyreek Hill, folks.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
a nice
Tyreek Hill.
play. It's funny. It's funny when you replay these. I remember quite a few of these. It's like, wow, yeah,
I was
you
at
know,
that
Whittle,
game.
some athletes, and I mean, listen, I attribute this to hockey, to a goalie. Some goalies are better when they just get peppered with more shots or they have more rhythm, play more games in a row. Sometimes guys are coming cold or something like that, like Elon did in the title game. So I'm not, he's a professional. I know he's supposed to go next man up right away, but when it's in game like it happened with Benford, that's a tough situation, right? So some players don't react well to that, some do. So, you know, if he gets those solid opportunities in Dallas where he could play every game of the year and he gets good minutes, he may do a good job. So we definitely wish Kyrie Elam well and definitely hope for the best with our 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
And just to give you a look, Whittle, here is our current board of picks that we have coming up in our draft. So
we got
as you can
Trey
see,
Amos at the top.
Yep.
Yeah, Trey Amos at 30. Trade up in the second and get Alfred Collins was one of these selections.
Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful?
I'd probably prefer Tylee Williams, but
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, if we can trade up and get Tylee Williams, I think that's a great fit for us. And then 3rd round, if we trade up into the 3rd, maybe we get the safety. I know the Bills were at Oklahoma's pro day. Billy Bowman, safety out of Oklahoma, and linebacker Danny Stutzman. You know,
Yep.
they performed for the NFL personnel that were there. So, but real quick before we close the chapter on Kyrie Elam, I do believe that it was a bad fit. However, I think Kyrie never really got a fair shot here. After they drafted him, I did not like the pick. I didn't want to pick, but I saw enough in year one. In year one, Trey White went down, right? Trey White went down in no. Year one of Kyer, Trey White was still out with the ACL tear from the year before that he got in New Orleans. He was still out, right? So Daniel Jackson and Christian Benford were the starters. Fine, no problem. Dane Jackson gets hurt, and was it Dane? Yeah, Dane got hurt. Dane got that neck injury in
Yeah, against
Tennessee in week
Tennessee.
2. Right.
Yep.
So he's out. Your first game as a starter, Kyer Elam. Miami against Tyreek Hill. Christian Benford was covering Jalen Waddle. Do you remember what Tyreek Hill did that game?
I don't.
2 catches, 33 yards.
And
I
that's
was
why I
there.
don't remember.
Shout out to LeSean. Shout out to Warlock.
The one and only.
I was at that game. The 4 horsemen were there. 2 catches, 33 yards. He put him in a car seat, double buckle. That was it. He locked him down, right? You keep going throughout the season. I thought he played well against the Chiefs. He got cooked against the Jets, and he got cooked pretty badly against the Steelers. George Pickens, Garrett Wilson, they both took him to the woodshed, did him dirty. Outside of those 2 games in his rookie year, Kyer was good. He was very good. I know the metrics don't say it. The metrics don't say he was played at an elite level. I don't think he played at an elite level. He played at a very good level. He was the best corner we had on the field that year. Christian Benford broke his hand in that Miami game. So here we are. We're dependent on Kyer Elam to be quarterback number 1 rookie year learning a new system, right? After he didn't win the job, first round pick. Going into year 2, Trey White, I think he had come back later on in 2022, and he didn't look good. He didn't look good at all, right? So 2023, fast forward to 2023, you got Dane, Trey, Benford, and Elam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trey gets hurt in the Miami game, 23. I don't Dane. What happened? So they brought and Benford's the other starter. Trey White's the starter. Cool. I'm good with that.
Yep.
Trey gets hurt. They bring Dane off the bench, not Kanye. That I have an issue with. That's where, like, I already didn't feel like he should have had to come in 2023 and win the job that he rightfully earned in
Mm-hmm.
22 with his play his rookie year. I thought he should have got a shot. And I'm sure I'm going to get killed in the comments or on Twitter in the back channels or whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I thought Kyer earned his right to be the starter in 2023 with his play in 2022. Benford comes in, he starts, plays well. I'm glad we have Benford. Quarterbacks for the future, though, should have been Elam and Benford. I thought Elam should have got all of Dame Jackson's snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely terrible. I'm sorry. Dame wasn't good. He was good when he came in for Trey White in 2021, and he hasn't been good since. It's what it is. He hasn't been good since. So Kyer, I thought, got a raw deal. I don't think he was treated fairly. I don't think he was given I don't think he was given a fair shot to play here. I'm glad he's going to another team. I'm glad he's going to a team with an excellent pass rush. I'm glad he's going to a team that prioritizes their corners to be aggressive and go after the football. He's good at that. I think he'll be fine in Dallas. I hope he recaptures what he had that made him a first round pick and how well he played in 2020, 2022, and he brings that to Dallas. So that's my spiel on Kyer, and that's really it, man. That's all I got.
Me too.
Out of here. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, but that was Whittle. That is a lot. I mean, very, very busy week. I think overall, listen. I mean, we don't know how all the moves are going to work out, but considering the cap space and the re-signings of our players, again, some of the free agents we brought in, maybe there's questions, of course, with Boza and things like that. But it just illustrates that Brandon Beane and his staff they're gonna try to give this team everything they can in the Josh Allen era. So, and there may be more moves to be had, and now we can, take a breath. And next week, I look forward to our podcast next week as we get more deep into position needs, and we can identify more things as you run those mock drafts now. So maybe a wide receiver was something that we were looking at a couple of weeks ago in the first 2 rounds. I'd probably say take that off the board right now in that case. But so again, we can make adjustments and start identifying those Billsy type players that we always talk about here. So looking forward to next week and beyond.
Yeah, next week again, guys. I'm gonna try to get both coaches on to talk some to really get into the X's and O's of the offensive line and the defensive line and some of the prospects that we're looking at. So yeah, next week's gonna be more informative than anything else. And yeah, that's it, man. I mean, so far so good with free agency, bro. I'm ready to get to the draft. Oh, for those of you that wonder why Trey Hendrickson is not a Buffalo Bill, medical. So the the Bills were prepared to pull the trigger on that, and the medicals didn't allow it. So it is what it is.
Yep.
We're
And
good.
that's
Joey
probably,
Bosa,
yeah.
stay healthy, and we're good.
Yep. Even though Bosa has medical, it's the risk and reward, right? That we'd have to give up a
I mean,
pretty good
he can
draft
pass a
capital to
physical.
get him.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have to give up a second round pick or anything like that in this year's draft. So I think that was the smart move.
right.
All
No,
right,
not
Winner.
Samuel. Not Samuel. Trey Hendrickson, the
Trey
defensive end
Hendrickson,
from
though.
the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a history with an injury situation that we have dealt with
Yeah.
recently with this team. So we don't want to
what?
deal with.
By the way, speaking of Samuel, one pet peeve from a few Bills fans I saw on Twitter. Josh Palmer's not the same as Samuel. Okay, let's.
Right.
It's not the same sign. I said, well, this is just another Sam. No, it's not. So until you watch him play and then you see what he brings to the table, trust me when I tell you, it's going to be.
Let me tell you guys. Listen, let me tell you something. If Samuel's healthy this year, the Bills are gonna. Josh is gonna throw. Josh probably gonna throw for 43 to 4,500 yards. If Samuel's healthy, he's probably gonna throw. I'm gonna just go out and say he's gonna throw for around 4,500. If Samuel's healthy as well.
Yeah,
If
Samuel
Samuel's
came
healthy,
on. I think Sam was starting to get more comfortable towards the end of the year. So I'm hoping for some good things out of him coming up in 25. So
you saw how he did that man, Patrick Surtain, the defensive player of the year. Oh, same thing, dog. With Asante, medical.
Yep,
That's what we're talking about. Medical
yeah.
for him too.
Oh, Asante Samuel. Sorry, dog. My bad.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh, by the way, compensation update on DeMar Hamlin: $2 million for 1 year, not 3.
Yeah.
So even a little bit better. So, again, listen, 1 year, $2 million. Listen, I'm glad he's still here in a way. I mean, as I said, we'll always have a soft spot for DeMar, but again, I still would like to see better
teams, man.
Yeah,
he's good. He's a special teamer. He's good.
Listen, I tell anybody out there, you got a kid, let him. And just on this note, throw a football, be a backup quarterback. When guys like Daniel Jones are still raking in $14 million a year, man.
Daniel Jones might end up starting down in Indianapolis. So
Yeah,
he
but
really
still,
might.
it's like
He really might.
14, almost 17 million. Wow, I was, just unbelievable, right?
Yeah, but all right. Thank you guys for pulling up. Thank you guys for stopping by and listening to us talk for the last 90 minutes or so. We'll do it again next week, 9 p.m. Make sure you pull up. Make sure you
dog.
bring
I
your
appreciate
notepad.
that.
Make sure you bring your notepad
Absolutely.
like Jair did. All right, bring your notepad and pen like Jair did to the interview, and
absolutely.
we're going to talk about.
Yeah, one thing. Well, I wanted to give Bill's Bunker a shout out here towards the end. I'm sorry I didn't get to it, but first time seeing us, subscribe to us from other content creators. Go Bills, and thank you to you, Bill's Bunker. We really appreciate that. Anybody out there, if you ever like to subscribe to us at Coast to Coast or Do Champions, please do. We would greatly appreciate that. It means a lot for us. So, and anyone that has, we always appreciate you seeing you all in our group chat. It means more than you realize. So, thank you very much for all that.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I got nothing left, man. I mean, next week we'll get into it, and
we'll be back and better than ever next week.
As things happen, though, throughout the weekend or throughout the rest of the week, as things happen, keep an eye out for the content on Do Champions and the content on Coast to Coast. I may post a mock draft video at some point this week. I may post some things, a quick video about some of the moves that we make, and I may post a video about a couple of prospects that I want to highlight. I am getting into the later rounds now, so there's a couple of safety prospects that I like. I would love the Bills to take a look at. One of them happens to be the son of a former Hall of Fame cornerback, and so we'll talk about those guys later on.
Sounds great.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you coming through. As always, like my partner Beyonce said, like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to pull up 9 p.m. Wednesdays
Mm-hmm.
every week, even in the off season, on the Do Champions Network. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Thank you, Tina. Go Bills.